We've got some breaking news. Actor and musician Jussie Smollett from the hit show Empire was attacked and beaten early this morning in Chicago.
CNN anchor Don Lemon texted him at the time of the attack, sharing information that the Chicago Police Department did not believe Smollett's account of what happened.
His friend who was there texted me in the middle of the night and said, "Hey, this happened to Jussie." I called a friend, the friend happened to be there, and Jussie said, "Oh, Jussie's here. Here's the phone." So he told me in his own words what he said happened.
With the verdict just in the trial of actor Jussie Smollett, found guilty on 5 of 6 counts after 9 hours of deliberations.
And so the verdict is in, and the predictable has happened. Jussie Smollett is guilty, at least on 5 out of 6 of the counts. But it's not like getting to this point was easy. It really seemed like Smollett had all the cards in the deck stacked in his favor, straight from the start.
Okay, a lot to cover. We've got some breaking news. Actor and musician Jussie Smollett from the hit show Empire was attacked and beaten early this morning in Chicago.
Today, all criminal charges against Jussie Smollett were dropped, and his record has been wiped clean of the filing of this tragic complaint against him.
And get this, the records are sealed. The court says after reviewing the details and evidence of the case and the fact that Jussie does volunteer service in the Chicago community, they're dropping the charges.
So not only did the charges get dropped initially, and the court documents sealed, you had Don Lemon texting him, telling him that the police weren't believing him after he testified.
Smollett testified that CNN anchor Don Lemon texted him at the time of the attack, sharing information that the Chicago Police Department did not believe Smollett's account of what happened.
Which honestly raises a lot of questions, and not just journalistic ethics ones either. Like, how did Don Lemon even have that information in the first place? Then he had the audacity to cover the story and act like he had no conflict of interest.
That's when I met him. I was asked to come on the show, play myself in a little cameo. He introduced himself and he said, I'm a big fan. I love your work. It's good to have you here on the set. Very nice guy. We chatted for a couple times after that. I saw him maybe when he came to New York a couple times. I know him, not best friends, but I do know him.
It's kind of weird how Don Lemon would give all this information while making no mention that he literally tipped Jussie off on the police not believing him. Hence why he totally stopped cooperating with the authorities. It's almost like Don Lemon seen the way things were going and was trying to get ahead of the story by covering it in a more reasonable manner. Then Jussie took offense and spilled the beans on the stand. Just watch how the progression of this coverage goes. But keep in mind how he literally tipped Jussie off behind the scenes.
Look at that. Just look at that. Imagine that being your life right now. And then there's the letter. On January 22nd, a week before the alleged attack, what appeared to be a threatening letter containing a white powder was received at Cinespace Studios in Chicago. That's where Empire is filmed. CNN has obtained a copy of that letter last week, shared by a person close to Jussie Smollett. It included a message apparently cut from magazine clippings and a stick figure drawing, which Jussie described to ABC News as a stick figure hanging from a tree, which had a gun pointing towards it. I want you to stop and think about it this way, okay? Let's just stop and think about it this way. The police did not pull Smollett over in traffic. They didn't stop and frisk him. They were called in for his defense. What reason would they have to set him up? He brought the police to him. So I just have a word for people who I see on TV just spinning it, twisting themselves in pretzels, trying to figure out a way, like, how do I do this? Read the bond proffer. Take a look at the evidence, which is exactly what we'll do right after this.
Doesn't it make you look at this coverage differently when you realize what he did behind the scenes? And just after CNN lost its biggest talent on the network. If they lose Don Lemon over this, what will be left? Apart from that though, I think we could look back at this quote from Jussie Smollett with glee.
I still want to believe, with everything that has happened, that there's something called justice. Because if I stop believing that, then what's it all for?
In this case, it took a while, but it seems that in the end, justice was served. At least in Jessie's case. His lawyers have already filed an appeal and are saying they are completely confident this will be overturned. Let's hope that isn't true, and that they're just stringing Jussie along to get some extra cash. Well, if you liked this video and want to see more content in the same vein, YouTube thinks this will be a great place to start.
And even if it was a hoax for the sake of bringing attention to this, then I'm like, that's low-key noble. Like, I'm at my wit's end about us centering situations like this and wanting to make people have to pay.